From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark. Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, so much left to digest from last week, so let's talk about it, including Corey's take on Mike's tone at the podium, the inconvenient reality that on the field, the ACC's pretty stout, and our one-on-one interview with Tommy Castellanos. Wake Up Warchant is presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it, sip the juice. What's in the juice, Aslan? Glad you asked. Vitamins, nutrients, no sugar. Things like citrulline, green tea extract, natural caffeine, L-carnitine, just in the Immune Plus formulation with that Tango Orange that tastes so good once it hits your lips. The green tea extract is what makes it the extra strength variety. Try them all. There's a variety pack. It's clinically tested and clinically proven to enhance your immune response, to enhance your focus and your mood. And we're not going to need that much help to be in a better mood, Corey, because we're so close to football, days away from practice starting. But check out vitaminenergy.com and check out warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. If you're a member of warchant.com, you get all sorts of perks, like discounts to Garnet and Gold. We have a Warchant apparel section now, apparently, Corey, at Garnet and Gold. So if you want Warchant branded swag, t-shirts, hoodies, people have asked, whatever, hey, if that's what you want to rock, awesome. You can get 10% off of it when you're a member of warchant.com. You don't have to be a member to buy any of this stuff, but check it out over the Garnet and Gold website and check out everything going on over at warchant.com. Dead period, but Florida State's still pulling in talent recruiting-wise, and we're still cranking out great content from guys like Irish O'Fell and Corey Clark. Corey, how are you, man?
What a preamble. Just a pro's pro, getting all of it done right at the top of the show. I am wonderful, Aslan. Thanks for asking.
Is that sincere? Is everything okay?
It was a lot. You had to talk a lot, but no, it was sincere. You did a good job. You were informative.
I meant, do you feel good? Do you feel well?
Oh yeah. No, I'm fine. Yeah, I feel great, buddy. I'm ready to attack the week. 2 days from now, there will be football practice in Tallahassee, Florida.
We still don't know if we're going to be able to see it or not. And as
my guess is going to be absolutely not. Like, why would the spring be closed? But they're going to open it up 4 weeks before Alabama.
Yeah,
probably not. Which is just as well. We can sleep in, Aslan. We get to sleep in, but I can go up to Atlanta more. I can go see my son a little bit more.
Yeah. Problem is getting parking at that time. At least for the first month will be fine. But come September, come October, and classes are back, trying to find parking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not going to be great for your boy, but I'm not going to complain about that. So, yeah, practice starts Wednesday. On Tuesday, tomorrow, we will have our annual luncheon hosted by Mike Norvell, thanks, Coach, where he provides lunch for us and gives us kind of a State of the Union, if you will, which I wonder what else can we really ask him, Corey, after we got him in, 4 different environments less than a week ago and probably over an hour worth of Q&A with him, but we'll figure something out. And then tentatively, I'd assume we're going to get all the coaches again, like all the coordinators, assistant coaches. It's what we've been doing every single year since Mike Norvell's been the head coach here. But we know some of the assistants might not be as microphone media friendly as others. But I think Mike makes them all suck it up, at least just like this once or twice a year.
Yeah. And, I'm interested because he does like a State of the Union, 15-minute, 20-minute interview before the luncheon. And then we all just sit around and eat barbecue and talk to guys on the record for like 6 to 8 minutes and off the record as well. But I was wondering, man, so when we did our last show, which was in Charlotte on Wednesday, we recorded it anyway. I didn't really get the full sense. I'd heard about it and we talked about it briefly, but I didn't really get the full sense of like how Norvell was
at the
when
podium?
He got on his little preacher when he got on his preacher role.
Yeah,
that was at the podium, right?
Correct.
In the ballroom.
Yeah, national television.
Yeah,
live.
I mean, he is who he is,
you
right?
Like it? You like it?
He is who he is.
Say it. You like it. Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I don't like it anymore, but I think it's like it's not for show. I think because I talked to plenty of fans that were like, will he just stop with that? like trying to be all rah-rah, and the way he gets kind of steely-eyed and so laser-focused. Like, as we all remember, the answer he gave before the Syracuse game that, in hindsight, made him about $80 million. When you think about that question I asked him,
Thanks,
and his
Corey.
response.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's what I did. He should split some of that with me. But it made him about $80 million. Got the stadium going. We're going to have a patio on the stadium now because of that answer. Yeah. Just got a lot of people excited about the program again. So, that was cool in the moment. And he's had other moments where it's been like that, where I feel like it was necessary. That when it's not forced. I do want to stress that. It's not as if he's doing it for show. It's not performative. This is who he is. It's just I think we're at a point now where Florida State fans saw it so much last fall, and they just don't care to see it anymore. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't resonate with them right now because you were 2-10, and nothing you say. No matter how adamant you are about your team and how the standard and how hard your team is going to work and how much you believe in these guys, will anybody care until August 30th?
Well, when we last recorded the show, Corey, and again, I know you weren't able to really watch it live on ACC Network, but like I was running up and down.
I was writing, by the way. I want people to know that.
Yeah.
I was writing. I wasn't just sitting there eating. God bless the ACC kickoff. They feed us. I'm not going to complain. What I ate was rough. It was a rough 5 minutes of trying to chew that. But either way, I wasn't eating at the time that Norvell was talking. I was writing a story. Anyway, go ahead, Aslan. Sorry.
So I'm running up and down from upstairs and then down the escalator so I can upload previous interviews, and then so they're going through all these different stations or whatever. So I just hit record and then I run downstairs and I run back upstairs 5 minutes later probably. So I get there right as Mike starts working into his lather and gets really piercingly loud. And I brought this up on the show last time we recorded, Corey, because that was kind of I was trying to hint at it to get your feelings on it, but you were writing, so you weren't able to see it in real time. I think that is kind of it was kind of cathartic for him a little bit, because I think, to what I saw on the previous show, he's had several moments in the last 8 months, 9 months, however long it's been since last year ended, where like he's had to wear it. He's had to go in front of different media outlets before booster events, whether he was at ACC spring meetings in Amelia Island, and he's had to answer like, what was it like going 2-10? What happened? And he's been really graceful with it. He's been very gracious about talking about it and not being surly. And I get it. Like, you got to wear that. You're 2-10. Corey got you an $80 million contract. You got to suck it up being pro. I think that was him kind of like, all right, man, I'm over this. Like, I get it. It was bad last year, but I figured it out. I've got everything moving in the right direction. I believe in these guys. Now, how genuine and sincere is it? We'll see here, and whenever August 30th rolls around. But I think that was finally him kind of getting off the chain, or like, breaking off the leash of 2-10, just like, all right, man, that was last year. It's behind us. This team is, because he was asked about the climb and how do you kind of, come back from what happened last year. So I think that was all in response. Like, it all erupted out of him, but I don't like the way it sounds and feels. It was very shrill, but hey, I mean, again, I think he's been a good dude about it. He's had a good tone for 8-9 months, and he just, finally kind of cracked, if you will.
Yeah, and he didn't like lose his mind and start playoff. He didn't turn into Jim Mora. Yeah. We can't do diddly poo. He didn't lose his mind in that way. It's just, and look, man, again, I don't want it to say that it's performative, and it is who he is. This is real for him. Like, those answers aren't just made up answers. It's what he believes, and it's how he sounds when he gets excited. I'm just saying, from the multitude of Florida State fans I talked to about it, I know there were posts on the message board about it too, plenty. That it's not going to resonate. It's not that it rings false. It just rings repetitive, and it rings like, yeah, man, we've heard this before. You had that tone and you had that look in your eye last September. It didn't matter at all either.
Did he though? So, was he?
I mean, not maybe to that volume or that excitement level, but yeah, there were times in the middle of the week where he was challenged and he would like, we're going to get this right, I promise. Right, we're going to figure this out, I promise. And he didn't. But anyway, the point being, I'm just glad practice is here. Now, look, whether we get to watch practice or not, probably not. So we're still going to be hearing from coaches and players about how well it's going or not going. But at least football is here, and the talk season is over. Like, talking season is done. Yeah. Starting Wednesday, they start preparing for Alabama, and obviously the next 11 games after that. So that's really, really exciting. And you're right, man. Well, it's not like he was put in an impossible situation. He put himself there.
Yes.
He jumped into it. Both feet landed right in the middle of an impossible situation because you can't be defensive when you go 2-10. That's. I mean, I guess you could, but you haven't earned the benefit of the doubt. You had two good seasons.
A lot of people of his ilk. I think Dabo would have been much more surly. I think Ryan Day. I mean, granted, these guys have won national titles.
They've accomplished more.
Yeah, but people that are in his zip code when it comes to being, compensated for doing this job at this level, I think would have probably been a lot more abrasive than Mike. And again, I'm not trying to give him flowers for this. I'm just kind of trying to point out what I think might have led to the way he reacted or delivered things on Wednesday.
Yeah, so the lesson here is don't do this ever again. Then you don't have to answer questions like this. Like Dabo gets upset and answering about questions about why did you guys only go 9-3 last year?
Well, the portal stuff. He kept getting portal stuff.
Well,
peppered
sure, but they were
years.
still winning 8 or 9 games a year. If Dabo went 2-10, I have no idea what his defense mechanism would be. I can't even fathom it because Dabo wouldn't go 2-10. So he's not quite in that zip code because Dabo and Ryan Day, no chance either one of those men ever go 2-10 ever. So Norvell has that to own up to. But he also has a new lease on life. He's got a bunch of new coaches. He's got a heck of a bunch of new players, and they all start their climb together on Wednesday. But I mean, right? Dabo and Ryan Day are not going 2-10.
Fair.
And Ryan Day, I think more about where he is and the situation he's in. Yeah. But Dabo has proven to us, even when he had bad years at the beginning, they were 6-6, 7-5 type years, not 2-10. He's never sniffed 2-10, and he never will. So Norvell never needs to sniff it again. And hopefully those lessons have been learned, and we'll get to have a lot of fun in the next 4 months.
Did you fill out your preseason ACC ballot, Corey?
Who's got that kind of time, Aslan?
Oh, come on, buddy. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did it.
Oh, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I apologize to the ACC for that.
I could only in good conscience put 2 Florida State guys on there, and I think I only put 2 because I just felt obligated to put a sec. Daryl Jackson, to me, I felt very comfortable. That didn't feel like a stretch to me at all for defensive tackle. That is the one thing about this conference, looking at all obviously have a new quarterback, every single position, on the offense and defense. And there's a lot of talented defensive ends. I mean, I had to put Ruben Bain. I forget who's the other guy. There's a really good defensive end in this conference. The TJ whatever from Clemson. I put him down also at defensive end. But Daryl felt natural and kind of a fair, designation. Yeah. I put Jalen Lucas as an all-purpose back. You can only pick one quarterback. I picked Cade Klubnik. You could pick 2 running backs. Yeah. I didn't pick anybody on Florida State's roster. I think it was 2 wide receivers. I hope Deuce has a great year, but just,
Who did you pick at wide receiver?
Good question, Corey. Let me go ahead and pull up my my ballot here, which I just had it. Here it is. Wide receiver, TJ Moore from Clemson, Malik Rutherford from Georgia Tech, and Chris Bell from Louisville. Chris Bell had 40, 50 catches, 600 yards. He's 6'3", 200. They got Miller Moss from USC. Feels like Louisville is going to, probably have a very good offense once again. I picked the running back from Louisville, Isaac Brown, that ran for over 1,000 yards. I think he's the leading running back in terms of rushing yards, and then also Desmond Reed for Pitt I put on there. Offensive tackle, I don't think anybody from – I kind of thought maybe I'd put Pettibone down at center just because the way they've kind of effusively praised him, but – SMU got a kid from Arkansas that's been really solid. So, and TJ Parker is a defensive end I put along with Ruben Bain. Yeah. So you're picking 2 defensive tackles, 2 defensive ends. So this is not to say that Florida State is devoid of talent, but it just, if you want to have those, I don't know how many positions they have one of the 2 best players in the conference. Maybe you folks thought maybe cornerback. I put the kid from Clemson, Avion Terrell, and then Chandler Rivers from Duke. I think he was first team All-ACC last year, and he graded out at 90 on PFF. So I want you to fill out your ballot and kind of see if there was anybody you felt you would have been comfortable putting on the ballot.
It would have been the starting 22 for the Noles to balance out your hatred for the team you cover, I would have tried to get some guys on the preseason ballot. No, I think Darrell Jackson's the only surefire one. Deuce Robinson, I might have just because I believe in what he's going to be in this offense. But yeah, I mean, Malik Rutherford had 60 catches last year. Those are good names that have done a lot. Same with Jeremiah Wilson. I think he's a good cornerback, but I don't think he's necessarily better than Terrell at Clemson. In fact, I don't think he's better than Terrell at Clemson. And then the kid on the other side, like you said, was first-team All-ACC. But look, man, I think people would hear that and be like, oh, no, that's not good at all. Guys that cover Florida State only are putting 1 of 22. And if you want to put kickers down, so 2 of 25 if you want to do kicker, punter, and kick returner. So whatever. But you only have 2, and you only have one real player. But think back, Aslan, because I don't know the answer to this. And I don't know that I've filled out a preseason ballot since it was in Pinehurst 10 years ago. I just don't do it.
I thought it guilted you into doing one last year, but apparently not.
Maybe you did, but it's like, what are we doing? I don't know, and I'm sure I look like a fool for the preseason. Number one, the point I would make is it's much, much, much more important to make the postseason All-ACC team.
Yes,
that's the one that matters. Not who thinks you're going to be good, but actually going and proving it. And the point I was going to make there is I don't know the stats or I don't know the names, but who do you think you put on the 2022 preseason All-ACC ballot from Florida State? Not 23, because I'm sure you had Verse.
Oh, yeah.
You probably had Jordan Travis. Maybe I'm sure there were other people there. Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman. But who would you have put on the 2022 team?
Maybe Jamie Robinson.
Yeah,
maybe
probably.
Yeah,
any of the linemen.
I don't know. Gibbons, Gibbons didn't cement himself in Florida State lore until 2022. I feel like.
Right.
To your point, I think Jamie Robinson's the only. Because we've been pretty. Linebacker play's been up and down, spotty. So I don't think anybody from the linebacker spot, nobody on that defensive line. Listen, Verse went crazy, but I don't think any of us, we were hoping that he could maybe do something crazy like that, but I definitely wasn't banking on it. So yeah, good point.
So, so the point being, just this doesn't mean that there's a ceiling, what the ceiling of this team is, or how bad it's going to be, because right now there's just so many question marks. I mean, the good news is they're not nearly as big a question marks as the guys that joined the team last year. That Deuce Robinson can play. Squirrel White can play. Tommy Castellanos can play at this level in this offense. So Sawchuk, you've got guys that have proven it at big-time schools, and they've been counted on. So Herring, go down the list, Stephon Thompson, all these guys have played a lot of college football, but you wouldn't necessarily think that any of them are maybe going to be the best in the conference. They also don't have to be. It'd be nice to have a couple of special guys on each side of the ball, the kid from Nebraska, James Williams. Yeah, it'd be great if he was first team at the end of the year. That's a huge deal if he is.
For sure.
And some other, and on the opposite side, Deuce Robinson. If Castellanos gets votes for All-ACC quarterback, then you've had a good year. But clearly, you wouldn't vote for him right now. You're not. You're the farthest thing from a homer, so you wouldn't vote for him anyway. But neither would I. None of these guys have earned All-ACC votes at Florida State. So so there's a lot up in the air, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad sign, because as I tried to point out there, 2022, you didn't go into that ballot looking like, oh man, this is a 10-win team. Look at all these guys I've nominated for All-ACC. No, you didn't, because we didn't know. And, that was really, really close to being an 11-win team. If Fitzgerald had turned into Fitzgerald in September, that's an 11-2 football team.
That's a team that's in the discussion in a 12-team playoff, which is what we live with right now.
Literally, yes, absolutely. Now, they might not have made it because they struggled with Florida and they're an ACC team. I get it. But, yes, that game against Florida, if they win that game, they are absolutely in contention for a 12-team playoff spot. That team right there, because that's about where they were ranked, in that neighborhood after that game. So great point, and that's where you are now. That's the state of the sport. If you can get yourself to 9-3 at the end of the regular season, depending on who the wins are, and obviously who the losses are against, you don't want to lose to Kent State. But if you beat the teams you need to beat to impress people, you might be right there in contention with 9 wins. That team was a playoff caliber team, despite nobody having any misguided thoughts that are not misguided. Nobody having the ability to see the future that Jordan Travis would be that Johnny Wilson would be that, and on and on and on. So that's it doesn't mean that it's a death knell just because Aslan only had one guy on the All-ACC team. Pettibone, though, would have been a good. Pettibone could be one by the end of the year.
Yeah, and I wasn't even. I hope people don't think that's what I was intimating at all. I like Jeremiah Wilson. I do like Deuce Robbins. I just don't, it didn't feel good enough about that to put him on my ballot. But there is talent, much more so on this roster, up and down. That's proven than last year. Like, listen, man, I put Malik Benson on my ballot last year, man.
Yeah,
I had Darius Maurice were on my ballot last year. Patrick Payton and Marvin Jones were on my ballot last year, so, and I know Patrick was actually had produced, but Marvin was a huge reach, and that clearly blew up. But whatever. I mean, I didn't lose, I didn't lose my credential over it or anything. So,
right.
But that's the way I kind of looked at some things going into this one, and then predicted order of finish. I'll just do the top 5. So I got Clemson 1, SMU 2, Duke. Watch out for Duke, Corey.
Okay.
They just don't.
Oh, they don't play anybody. They don't. They have a pretty easy schedule, right?
They play at Clemson, which okay.
Yeah. That's a loss.
Otherwise, though, they have NC State at home. They got to go at Syracuse, at Cal. They host Georgia Tech. They host Virginia. They host Wake Forest, and they're at North Carolina.
Well, but let's be honest, man. It's not like Duke. I know they had a good record last year, but Florida State should have won that game. Yeah. That's the worst Florida State team of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
But the point being, it's not like even the games they won, they just didn't dominate, folks. So almost every ACC game they play will probably be a coin toss-ish.
Yeah.
But they'll have a good defense, and he's a good defensive coach. But I was going to say, them playing
and they got a better
home,
quarterback.
It doesn't matter if they're at home. At home, that's not a home field advantage. Were you there last year?
Ask Clemson about that in 2023, man.
I just think I don't know that was Wallace Wade rising up and saying, "Not today, Dabo." I think that was just that Klubnik was horrible and that offense was horrible. I don't know if it was necessarily Wallace Wade doing it. But, yeah, I mean, that stadium is not a college football atmosphere. So the point, when they host Georgia Tech, it might be rowdy when they play Clemson. But when they host Georgia Tech on a noon Saturday game, there's going to be 24,000 people there. They're not going to be all that dialed up, and so it will still be a coin toss, even though they're at home. Yeah. But yeah, they okay. I go for it, man. I like you. I like you picking the Blue Devils high.
Duke at 3, Noles at 4, Miami 5.
I might have flipped Miami and Duke, but otherwise, good on you. Good work. Okay. No Georgia Tech, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I got Georgia Tech at 7. I actually put NC State ahead of them because I really like that C.J. Bailey kid. Their quarterback's 6'6". He's put on enough weight.
You like him more than Haynes King?
Nah, that's a good point. NC State just does this, right? Every third year, Dave Doran messes around and wins 9 games. I feel like he's at this part of his life cycle. All right, it's been a down 2 years. It feels like here he comes back with a pretty solid team. But yeah, I just feel like Georgia Tech might feel a little too much of themselves with everything returned. But listen, I do like Haynes King a lot. Like Malik Rutherford a lot. They brought their running backs also returning too. So that's a team to like. But they did lose our defensive coordinator, Tyler Santucci. So, but that's right. The more I look down, I think Pitt's going to be a good team. I think Louisville's going to be a good team. I've got them 8th and 9th. I think Virginia's going to be much, much better. I think Chandler Moore's kid changes everything with them. I've got them at 10th. So, we spend all this time really slandering this conference, and I'm part of it too. I try to push back sometimes, but I always talk about when you're in this conference with the resources you have, with this schedule, because when I say this schedule, the implication is because you're playing in this conference that Florida State should always be competing in the month of November to be in a playoff mix when we're talking about 12 teams. But, man, there's some pretty good coaches, and there's a lot of good players on a lot of teams in this conference. And when you're not supremely talented and loaded like you were in 2023, a lot of these games it becomes college football Saturday where you probably are the better team than Pitt, but it's just that week where Gus's offense just hits a weird wall because it does every single year. He doesn't rip off 12, 11 wins every single year, Gus. His offense struggles once, twice a season, and it's going to pop up when you least expect it. So I'm excited for the season, Corey. Who knows how it's all going to land, but when I looked at the order finish, Clemson and SMU 1 and 2, okay. Clemson for sure. SMU, I guess because of what they did last year, but what's to say that Florida State can't jump ahead of, Duke on here and then find themselves third and, I don't know, maybe even second. And then we're in Charlotte and we're cooking with fish grease, my friend.
Yeah, that's but it's a fair point about I know we expect them to beat Virginia on the road. We expect them to beat Stanford on the road, but wait till those lines come out, everyone. Those lines, Florida State's not going to be favored by 30. Those lines will be maybe Florida State's favored by a few points or a touchdown. I guess it depends on how the Alabama game goes. But those wouldn't be stunning losses. They would be infuriating losses, but they wouldn't be stunning losses. And I think what will bother, when you're Florida State in a conference like this, and the same goes for Clemson. They don't lose as much as Florida State has lost lately, but it's always painful and frustrating when you're Florida State and you lose, let's say, to Wake Forest, and you look bad doing it. And then the next week, Wake Forest loses at Virginia by 2 touchdowns. And you're like, what in the world? How can you lose? How can you, with all your resources and all these 4- and 5-star kids, lose to a team that just lost to Virginia by 2 touchdowns? How does that happen? But that's the reality of college football kind of moving forward forever. It's like the NFL. The Chiefs are really good. They don't blow anybody out, ever. And college football is becoming more and more like that. You would like that Florida State, who views itself as and Clemson too, as an SEC-type teams, programs, powers, national powers, to be able to roll through a league like the ACC. But the ACC is not a joke. I don't know why I say it like that. The competition is not a joke.
Yeah, the crowds, the stadiums, the fan bases, sure. But there's good coaches and there's really good players up and down these rosters.
Yeah, man, and if you play poorly, you will lose. That the ACC is not the Sun Belt, where if you even played your C- game, you could beat most of the teams in that conference, or all the teams in that conference, probably if you're good. The 2023 Florida State team could have played their C- game every week and won comfortably in the Sun Belt. That wasn't the case in the ACC. They were trailed in the fourth quarter against Duke. Miami had a chance to win the game in the final seconds in 2023.
Never in doubt.
Things like that. Never a chance. Pittsburgh, you didn't put that game away until the third quarter. Late in the third quarter. You couldn't run on them. So, and if Cyprus doesn't make that play at the half-yard line, who knows how that game turns out. So, this is a real conference. And, yeah, the competition is real. And there are plenty of NFL players on all these teams. Players that will play on Sundays on these teams. So you got to play well to win. Florida State's not going to win every game because they're not going to play well every game. But how many of these teams, if they do play well, if Florida State reaches its peak or close to its peak and plays well on a given Saturday or Friday against these teams, who are they going to lose to? Who could they lose to on their schedule in the ACC? Clemson? Is that it? If Florida State plays a good game.
Plays at its peak, right? Yeah, and
maybe not a peak. You're never going to play at your peak. If you play a B-plus game, A-, B+, somewhere in there, who can beat them on this schedule?
Yeah, I give them a better than 50% chance on everybody on the schedule other than Clemson. I think even if they play B+, I'd go 51-49 Clemson, just because it's in Death Valley, and I think that's going to be a really good team.
That's a high-scoring game, Aslan, especially with these new clock rules where you're only getting 8 or 9 possessions a game. A 100-point game would be something.
I meant percentage.
But I'm sorry. I thought you meant the final score.
No.
51-40. So Norvell goes for 2 and doesn't get it, and that's the ball game. So I think that I think that's where I as I go into this season, I feel like. And I know I'm sure I said something similar last year. I was woefully incorrect, but I do know that this will be a better coach team on both sides of the ball, and I do know they have a better roster than they did last year. Those guys we were hoping they could play. Many of them could not. Certainly were bad fits in this offense. I trust Gus Malzahn. He got himself some good fits in this offense, and I trust what Tony White's going to do on the other side of the ball. To that, they will not be an embarrassment. They can be pretty good, and I do know this roster has been upgraded to the point where I think if this roster stays healthy-ish and plays well, any given game they can win. And if they play poorly, they can lose every game they play besides 2. So it's just a matter of if they can get these guys to play well. And they should. I mean, these guys have played a ton of college football. I don't know if there's another college football team in the Power Four, especially on offense. Let's stick with just offense, that has more starts than what this team will have. When you're talking about a quarterback that started for 2 full seasons and an offensive line that has 5 guys that have started multiple seasons. I mean, that is enormous experience in veteran presence and hopefully veteran leadership. And when you combine that with an offensive coordinator who I believe in, I don't see how they won't average 30-ish points a game. And if you're averaging 30 to 33, like I've said a million times, you're right in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 wins, at the very least. And so let's hope they can do it. And maybe Tommy's in New York, Aslan, for the Heisman.
Yeah.
Maybe he's this year's Cam Ward / Kyler Murray.
That's right.
It just turns it on.
And we'll be watching from the comfort of the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill as we see Tommy hoist the Heisman, 4th
Oh,
in
that's
program
right. Yeah,
history.
that's right. We'll be there. Yeah, there'll be a watch party at Corner Pocket. Bill, I'm putting that on you right now. If Castellanos is in New York for the Heisman ceremony, you're having a Tommy C. watch party at Corner Pocket, whenever that is, December 6th or 8th or whenever that thing would be.
Don't have to wait that long for a great time at the CP. Tuesday nights, trivia night. Thursday night, bingo night. Weekdays, daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for only $8.99, and it comes with a side dish of your choice. Ice cold drinks, friendly staff, intelligent staff that knows how to work televisions. There's 40 of them. They're going to have your favorite NFL team on Sundays. Go do your draft parties over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Shoot some pool, throw some darts, make a friend. It's always an awesome time. 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. All right, Corey, so we're going to rip through the rest of the player interviews that we performed on Radio Row last week for the rest of the podcast. But I know we just got done doing a top 40 when we talked about the 40 most impactful players for this upcoming season. Tommy was at the top of the list. You and Tommy went one-on-one. It was a really great interview. That's coming up here in a few moments. But you wrote the story over the weekend about Earl Little when he was at ACC Kickoff, and he was on the podium and he was at all these different availabilities, speaking to all the different assembled media. Is there some kind of splinter list almost that we need to make when it comes to, obviously, if Tommy does great, if that's the one player, if you could pick anybody on the team, if they have a great season to give Florida State the best chance of having a good season, would be your quarterback, obviously. But it feels like somebody like Earl, if there's a list of 3 or 4 X factors or just guys that need to hit their ceiling, play up to their recruiting status, he's got to be 1 or 2, it feels like, on a list of guys that I think would be like Darrell Jackson, Amari Williams, and I don't know if there's anybody else, a 4th or a 5th guy that we could round up, but just guys that might have not been top 5 in the top 40, although I know Darrell was, but I don't think Earl was in the top 10. I know Amari Williams was in the top 10, but who are these sort of guys where if they can play to the level that would be their peak, Corey, would have a huge determination on how Florida State ends up 2025?
Yeah, I mean, I would stick with the offensive line, honestly. I think that's a huge part of this season coming up, but that's a boring answer. I get it, but if those guys play well collectively together, if they're a good offensive line, then the world is your oyster, everyone. Aside from that, yeah, Earl Little's a good choice. Like, you have not gotten good safety play really the last 2 years, honestly, but certainly not last year from anybody. You didn't get, but your corners were good. Nobody else on the defense was good at all for the most part. Farmer and Jackson had moments, obviously, but there was not a lot to like. If Earl Little can be a guy that what I want, Aslan, is who's going to be a playmaker. Like, this defense is built, as we like to say around here, it's built for playmakers.
Amen.
But a 3-3-5, and especially the way Tony White likes to, he'll play zone on the back of pretty exotic blitzes, which should lead for the ball to be in jeopardy a good amount of time. Who is going to go pick off the football? When was the last safety that led Florida State in interceptions? Nate Andrews? Like, it's been forever.
Yeah.
So if Earl Little, who's going to be playing, he's going to be kind of in every, he's going to be doing a lot of things. He's supposed to be an every down back. He talks about playing the rover. Well, he'll be in the intermediate depth, so he'll be around the line of scrimmage. He'll be covering guys in the flat. He'll be covering tight ends. He'll be blitzing. He'll be covering slot guys. He'll be reading the quarterback's eyes. Like, if he can be a difference maker, yeah, man, that's a huge sign. But I also want Shaheem Brown to be something. Been talking about him for going on 4 years now, and he's played a lot of football.
That's the thing,
and
though,
he started
right?
a lot of games.
We've seen so. I don't know what else he really has left in him. I mean, not to say that he can't be better, but I don't know if he has like this elite gear.
But what if he fits? What if this defense is more tailored to him, and whatever his abilities might be? I mean, he's a fast kid. I mean, how many times last year did we watch Shaheem push a guy out at the 4 because he busted a 50-yard run? Like, Shaheem can run, he can move. Now they would score a play later, but he would still make the tackle inside the 5 or the 10. And he's made some big plays. Maybe it's just tailored to his instincts more. Maybe they're allowed to play with their instincts more. But yeah, man, I will go back though, and I don't know where James Williams fit on the list, but somebody on the defensive line.
5th.
Okay, well then, yeah, he doesn't. I guess he doesn't qualify for the question. But if those guys on the defensive line, if one of those guys, other than Darryl, can become a game wrecker,
Jason Jenkins, maybe, right? He might.
Maybe if he's going to be back. I mean, it sounds like he could be back at least for conference play. I don't know. Probably Alabama's too early. But the beauty is he doesn't play. Let's say he's not going to play, and he's the guy to remind people. He transferred from Tennessee, grown man, defensive end, has played SEC football. If he doesn't play for Alabama, you won't need him for the next 2 games. So he essentially gets a whole other month to recover and rehab and get ready for his season. Then yeah, man, if he's there for the Virginia game that Friday night, that's a difference maker, maybe, perhaps. But if he can become a dude, if they can have 3 or 4 guys become all-ACC caliber players, well, there you go. But I don't know who that would be. I don't know if that's Herring. I don't know if that's Jeremiah Wilson, Earl Little, Shaheem Brown. There's a lot of candidates, and nothing really proven other than Darryl Jackson. But yeah, I don't have a name to answer that. So I just listed basically the entire defense.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe Uzman.
For offense. Okay, yeah.
You know, maybe
Deuce, man. Deuce is a.
Yeah, Deuce
but I
is
guess
third
he's
on
up
our
there
list.
too. He's expected.
We expect him to be your number one, wide receiver, your most productive wide receiver. Like, I don't know if Earl. I think we expect Earl Little to probably be your best defensive back. Maybe Jeremiah Wilson. But when your coordinator,
I don't know if we expect that. Like, that's the crazy thing. That was the gist of the story I wrote. Is he was up at ACC Media Days, along with Darryl Jackson, who started multiple seasons, Castellanos, who started multiple seasons. And who was the other guy that was there?
Richie Leonard.
We just interviewed him.
Yeah,
Richie Leonard, who started multiple seasons. Earl Little's never started a game in college and has 17 career tackles, a third of which came in one game last year against Miami. So I don't know what we expect of him. But if he can become the guy that everybody thought he was coming out of high school.
Well, Tony White called him, so that's sorry, but I'm putting a lot of expectations on him because of that. I'm sorry, everybody.
Sure, and you're allowed to. I mean, that's what happens when coaches talk up players to that extent. You're supposed to get excited for them. That's why they tell us that stuff like that. But Earl Little could be unlocked this year. He is certainly not. Him playing nickelback to start last year is something I noticed in August, and I'm certainly not a football savant. But I was like, well, that doesn't look good. He just didn't look good. He get beat all the time. He got picked on, actually, as a nickel corner. They moved him to safety. He became a player. And now that's where he is now. Safety should have been his position all along. I don't know if they promised him he could play corner when he got here. I don't know why that took so long. But now that he's at what I think is natural position, even though he's not big, he's 199 pounds, I think that maybe he gets unlocked. And if he gets unlocked, then yeah, he could be a season changer. But I don't think anybody's expecting him to be awesome. He has to go prove it, like most of the guys on that defense.
All right, your interview with Tommy forthcoming. Do you want to set it up at all? Just takeaways. It was good. I like him. I think he's very endearing. I was very not that I was anti Tommy at any point, but I'm very, very much hoping that it all works out for him. Seems like he's doing the right things.
He's got a big personality, but it's not a personality like Jameis had a big personality. But you guys will see. I'm sure you've watched some of the videos he's had in the past. You'll listen to what's about to come up. I like him. I think he's engaging. I think he's energetic. He's quick to smile. He's quick to joke around. But he also, I really do feel like he thinks he's one of the best players in the country. I don't know that we necessarily get that off this interview, but I think he thinks he's one of the best players in the country. And, hey, to be it, you got to at least start by thinking it. If you just think, man, I'm going to be lucky to throw 10 touchdowns this year, and we're going to suck. Well, you don't want that guy leading your team. Well, this guy isn't that. He's going to walk onto the field August 30th literally thinking Alabama can't stop him. Now, he might be proven wrong in very quickly or 3 hours later, whatever the case may be, but this guy has an air about him and how good he is, and it's earned in the sense that he did start for 2 years, and he has had some good moments. Now, he was benched, too. So that's what I like about him, too, and again, we talk about that a little bit. I like that he's been humbled. Not that he was an over-the-top egomaniac in Boston. How could you be playing for a program that nobody cares about? But there's some humble that you've got to be humbled when you get benched at Boston College. So he's got something to prove. Even though he's already played well against Florida State 2 years in a row, he's got something to prove to everybody that's about to listen to this interview and everybody that's going to be watching him on Saturdays because he hasn't accomplished anything here. So but I like your final lightning round with him. He handles it well. Yeah. He handles it well, and I think he can be. He seems like this is not forced at all. This is a big personality, but a natural kid, and you hope a natural leader.
Yeah. All right, Tommy and Corey talking shop over in Charlotte.
So, what's the fastest you've run miles per hour?
I don't want to lie to you. I believe 21.9 or 22 right on the head.
Right, we're in the catapult thing, right?
Yes,
during a practice or something, or an off-season?
Practice, probably like we did running sprints, trying to hit top speed, velocity. Maybe.
And you got up to 22, thereabouts? That's pretty fast.
I don't want to lie. I think so,
right.
But I know for a fact 21 miles per hour.
All right,
sure.
Okay. Were you always, I'm talking about when you were 6, 7.
Yeah.
Were you always, the fastest kid at recess? Were you the fastest kid?
No,
weren't?
So my first time ever playing football, I played right guard.
What? Wow.
Look, so I'm going to give you guys something. My nickname as a kid growing up was Hamburger. My mom used to call me Hamburger because I used to eat a lot. I used to be a fat, chunky kid.
You were a little bit of a chunk then.
Yeah, and I used to eat a lot. And over the years, my brother played. I had a brother that's right before me, and he was playing football. And he used to score all the touchdowns, and I used to be blocking for him. And I just didn't like that. I used to be a little jealous that everybody look at you scoring all the touchdowns. So the next year, I was like, how do I become fast like you, or how do I lose weight? What do we do? And the next year, I played quarterback, and he was the running back.
And this was when you were 9?
This
8?
was when I was 7 years old.
Oh, so I
started playing at 6. So
yeah.
My first time ever was 6 years old. I played with 7 and 8 tackle.
Yeah.
And I played on the O-line. Next year,
you were the quarterback.
And I played quarterback.
So when you lost the weight, which it's crazy talking about a 6-year-old losing weight, going on a diet.
Yeah.
But were you? That's when you're like, oh yeah, I'm like my brother. I can really run.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you remember your first touchdown?
I do not, but I do remember a moment where my first time ever at quarterback or whatnot, and they had a run play call for me. And matter of fact, it wasn't the first time, but it was a big game.
Yeah.
I think a playoff game, and I made us lose. I fumbled the ball.
Oh, okay.
And my brother, he still let me hear about it to this day.
Cool, man. That's what brothers are for, right? Big brothers are for. So in 2023, man, the people listening to this show first really heard you that game.
Yes, sir.
We had warned them because you had came in the game before you played Florida State. Man, this kid runs around now.
Yeah.
He's a really good athlete.
Yes,
he's going to present some problems. But you must have thought that 2023 Florida State defense was overrated. You're like, what? I went for 400 against these guys.
Yeah.
What was that day like for you? And I know you're a confident kid and you always had confidence.
Yes, sir.
But doing it on that stage against that team, I know you lost the game, but did that instill more confidence in you than anything else possibly could have?
Most definitely. After that game, the confidence and through anybody else we played and to this far, I've did it against a really good defense and a lot of guys that got drafted.
Legitimately, probably the best defense in the country.
Yeah. And I'm a fearless person, man. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I believe in God, and he and my faith in him, and he kind of leads me and guides me and kind of helped me with my confidence and my mindset. But that day was a really, really emotional day for us because it was a red bandana game.
Yeah.
And so it's high emotions. We knew a lot of people was going to be there. We knew it was wearing those cool uniforms and stuff like that. And it's really my first test, to be honest, for that, for that community and that team. And I just wanted to, lead and show them that, you have a fearless leader, and no matter who we play, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to leave it all on the line for you guys.
Yeah, when have you been to this event before? Did you come to this
last year?
I'm not trying to take shots at your former school, I promise. But what is it, the difference between just being up there in that media room
sir.
and the throng surrounding you as the Florida State quarterback,
yes, sir.
compared to maybe the Boston College quarterback? What is that like?
Bro,
and have you owned what your new status is?
I am taking this thing day by day,
Yeah.
and I'm excited. I told somebody the other day, man, I wake up every day and I still don't believe that I'm the quarterback of Florida State.
Right.
This is a blue-collar program that has a lot of success, and the standard is very high. And I just, people ask me all the time, oh, how are you doing today? And I'm like, I'm living a dream.
Yeah.
I'm living a dream, and I'm taking advantage of this opportunity. And the opportunity that I have is to be the guy here, and I'm going to continue to fulfill that. And I'm really grateful for where I am today. And I feel like the hard work is paid off, and I'm going to continue to just, show this community and my teammates, my coaches, the confidence that I have, and to continue to bring hope and continue to bring back what Florida State has been missing.
And you've been asked a ton about the comments from 3 weeks ago in that article. I'm not going to have you rehash that. The reaction, though, did that kind of let you know, oh, yeah, I'm the Florida State, when a Florida State quarterback speaks,
yeah.
It resonates a little bit.
So, from I had no idea that was going to blow up and
Yeah.
be a proportion like it was. Obviously, I want to say that some things that was in there was kind of reworded or worded differently or put in different words. That's not really the way
That
they
wasn't
put
the
it out
context
to be.
you wanted it
the
to be.
context
I
they
got you.
wanted to be. Don't get me wrong, but
You're also a really confident kid.
No,
You're
for
not
sure.
shying away from that.
We stand on what
Yeah.
I said. Don't get me wrong, and we all about it. But some of the other stuff was just kind of crazy. But
I assume your phone.
no,
your
most
phone-
definitely. But yeah, but like you said, it kind of let me know that everything that I do now and everything that I say now is going to be to a certain extent because of who I am now and where I'm at. So
Right.
yeah, it kind of really let me know that, hey, you're the Florida State quarterback. It kind of really woke me up and let me realize that who I am now and what it what it could be.
Sounds like Coach Norvell, though, was he sounds, I don't know how the interaction with you was. Talking to him, he sounds like he's kind of all about it. He wants his quarterback to be this confident.
yeah.
He wants his quarterback to be a leader.
Just to speak on that, it's my job to bring confidence and hope and reinstall. And if they see me be fearless and be brave and be abundant every day, then they're going to be confident and fearless and abundant and brave. But just after that comment, a lot of guys have reached out from the past and like, hey, look, man, you got the swagger that Florida State used to have. This is the swag, and this is what we are used to. This is what we used to be. So for you to say that and for you to bring that type of energy and that camaraderie, we love it.
Yeah.
So, but, no disrespect to those guys or whatnot. We just, I just have a lot of confidence in the guys that surround me and the preparation that we've been putting in to get to the point that we're at. And we're desperate, and we can't wait. We have that edge every single day to go out there to have fun and play hard and to rewrite the narrative. Let's go.
All right, we got Tommy Castellanos in the hot seat. Rapid-fire questions. Tommy, there were 7 guys ranked ahead of you as a recruit as a dual-threat quarterback. How many of them have started more games than you?
I do not know.
None. None.
None. I like that.
What was your highest-graded game against a Division I opponent when you were at UCF?
I think it was really high because I only had a couple of snaps. Was it 95? Something
No,
like that?
against what team was it?
Guess Temple.
Yep.
Yeah,
correct.
Temple.
What was your highest graded game against a Division I team at Boston College?
D team.
Yeah.
It should have been.
It was last year.
Yeah, it was a smaller school.
No, it wasn't. No, Division I school. It's an ACC school. They got red in their colors and black, and it's a bird. It's Louisville.
Oh, Louisville.
Louisville. You graded out at 88.1.
I didn't even know that.
Strong. Strong. True or false, you are listed as one of the notable people from Waycross, Georgia on the Wikipedia page for Waycross, Georgia.
True.
You are.
That's got to be true.
Yeah.
No 2 minutes come out of the Waycross, Georgia.
Yeah. And I didn't put it in there. When's the last time you used AI, and what did you ask it?
I don't think I've used it since Boston College.
Okay. All right.
But I asked it. I used that. Matter of fact, I'm lying. I used the new Gronk app on Twitter, on X.
Okay.
And I just wanted to see how many. I said. Matter of fact, I used it to see how full capacity was it in Doak.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think my answer was like 79,560.
It used to be. It's going to be like under 70.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I used it for.
All right, nice. Steak or lobster?
Steak or lobster?
Yeah.
Steak.
Brisket or ribs?
Ribs.
Window or aisle seat?
Window.
Last question. It's an interesting one here. As I struggle to find it on my phone, if you had a bet of $200,000, if you were offered $200,000 to hang out with one person on the team, and if they start bullying you at any moment, you would get the money, who would it be?
Michael Pettis. Michael Pettis, for sure. He's a bully.
Tommy Castellanos, your starting quarterback, everybody, taking time out with Wake Up Warchant here at ACC Kickoff. Tommy, thanks so much, man. Best of luck this year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, and that's a wrap for the show today. The little in-game, in-show audible. We'll spread it out a little bit. We got 3 more interviews. We got Earl Little. We've got Richie Leonard and Daryl Jackson. It would have pushed the show well over an hour, which is fine. I get it. Love you. I love everybody that's like, oh, we want the show to go as long as possible. I get it. But sometimes it's better for us to kind of spread it out so that, we're just publishing pods regularly. Not sure if we're going to be going 5 this week, but possibly a live show. Definitely a mailbag, and we will be having some practice sound bites to share. Maybe not observations, but we'll be speaking to players after practice later in the week, so that'll be part of the show this week. And then I would imagine next week we will probably enter quote-unquote football season and start cranking out 5 shows a week, doing a live show once a month. Once a week. I think we do live ones once a week during the season. It's been so long, I barely remember and don't want to remember last year. But we don't have to because this year is almost upon us. All right, that's a wrap for us. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock. Warchant.com around the clock. Subscribe, everybody. It's the season. It's time. I almost want to do my buffer. It's time. Can I do it? Do you guys mind? It's a Monday. Okay, watch it. All right, here we go. It's time! It wasn't good. I'm sorry. Have a great Monday, everybody. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com.